Hello, my name is Evan Shanelec. I am finishing my student teaching at DeSoto High School. My first impression of the school was it was large. I came from a pretty small school in central Kansas, so I know by Johnson County standards it's not the biggest school, but when I got here and saw there's like 250 kids per class, it was pretty shocking to me.
X and X, right? X squared gets split up. And then this
It's great working with Miss Mages. She's really helped me on my journey to being a teacher. She helps me make sure that I'm doing things consistently when I'm grading, making sure that I'm planning ahead so that I'm prepared for class, making me think deeper about what questions I need to be asking students and what types of things students are struggling with that we need to address.
like the distribution multiplication before you deal with the exponent?
Growing up, I actually did feel like I wanted to be a teacher. I was doing really well in my math and science courses, and I feel like my teachers in high school and sort of my parents wanted me to go into engineering, something that would use a lot of those skills to make a lot of money. So when I first got to college, I was planning on doing that, just going towards an engineering degree. But as I left college, I started working with a construction company, estimating for them. And then after a while doing that, I just really didn't feel like I was in the right place. And I really wanted to go back to teaching. While I was at my construction company, I actually was volunteering at a summer camp that I went to when I was a kid. Got to work with a bunch of high schoolers and middle schoolers that week, and that's really when it clicked for me that, hey, this is what I want to be doing all the time. I want to be teaching, working with kids like this. So then I started looking for ways that I could get back into teaching because I knew I already had my degree. Didn't think I would be able to get the same types of scholarships I did when I was an undergrad. So I actually reached out to one of my academic advisors from college, and he told me they've got this MAT program and they're about to add secondary math. So I was like, well, that sounds great. It's a one-year program, it's all online. I can continue to work while I'm doing it, and that ended up being what I chose. I think teaching is, in a lot of ways, what I was expecting, but in a lot of ways it's a little bit different. Like, just thinking about how much work teachers need to put in to plan, to grade, all of that stuff that goes in outside of the classroom. And then realizing that not every student's gonna get it right away. So even though I'm teaching the same lesson sometimes 4 times in a day, it ends up being that my first hour class might not totally understand it, while my 5th hour class will be talking all the time. Feels like everyone in the class knows what they're doing. So just seeing a lot of differences in students, learning the same material, and trying to be more prepared for what those students need. I think the best part of the day is those small moments where you really get to connect with the students, hear about what they're doing outside of school, and as I'm in the classroom, it really helps to just see like that moment where it clicks for a student. That just makes it all worth it. I think the toughest part of teaching for me has definitely been the planning, just because I'm sort of like a serial procrastinator, and that doesn't really work when you have a new lesson, new content to be teaching every day.
DeSoto High School is a 5A high school in the edge of Johnson County, as rural as Johnson County can get. What makes DeSoto unique is that it is really close to Kansas City and has a lot of the benefits that come with that, but then it's also a small community. And I think when you walk into DeSoto High School, you get the feel that it is a community. One of the biggest challenges that we're going to see for the next few years is going to have to do with COVID and just trying to figure out where students are and what gaps they might have in their learning. We know that students might not have as solid of a foundation as they've had in the past or might have missed some skills. So we want to really be working hard to figure out where those gaps are and what we might have to be adding to our high school curriculum because they didn't get it in middle school.
How'd you get the standard deviations?
It's been great working with Evan. He's really great with the kids. One of the things that impressed me right off the bat was how quickly he learned their names and interacted with them. He enjoys working one-on-one with students, and students respond well one-on-one. And his math knowledge is excellent.
Radical 113 over 2. If we could have simplified the 113 anymore, we would. I think the biggest thing that I've realized about working with kids, even though I know the content and feel pretty comfortable with math or even science in some cases, I gotta realize that the most important thing is being able to explain the content that I'm teaching to students in a way that makes sense to them, not just the way that I know it and understand it. Some of the best experiences I've had during my student teaching have just been like those seminar classes in the middle of the day where we've got 10 different students coming in to ask for help on different things, and I'll just go back and forth and just answer a lot of different questions. That's really where we get to see students be themselves the most, I think. Just a week or two ago, one of the other teachers said that a student came up to them and told them that they really were starting to understand math when I started teaching them. So that was a really great thing to hear, and really made me feel like I was making a difference. When I decided that I wanted to go back into teaching, I chose the MAT program because it was 1 year, it was all online, and it worked well with my schedule. The teachers were definitely invested. They checked up with us individually, making sure that we're understanding what's going on in the class. We had classes where we would see these are where we can find the Kansas math standards or Common Core standards. Talked about like different ways that we should be providing students with good feedback, make sure we're up to date on the latest math teaching strategies, having a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. So if a student has a growth mindset, they're there and they're willing to learn. What's going on when they make a mistake is their brain's actually like firing synapses, and they are actually learning more than when they don't make a mistake. Their brain's growing. As far as advice I'd give to somebody who's thinking about transitioning to teaching, just do it as soon as you can. Don't keep working at a job that you don't want to work at. If you can make the decision to go back and teach and you have a way to do it as soon as you can. I know I've got classmates in the program that are in their 50s and they're still choosing to do this, and I think it's going to work out great for them too. At the end of the day, you got to be choosing to do what's meaningful to you. Teaching for me is where I want to be. I felt like in my job I used some basic arithmetic, but the reason I chose math in the first place is because I love math and I want to be able to share math with other people.